Hello and welcome to the RMT Books Podcast, the podcast where we delve into the minds of extraordinary individuals to uncover the mindset and secrets behind their success. I'm your host, Richard Van Winkle, and I'm thrilled to have you join us for today's episode. As we begin today's episode, we're excited to announce that we're coming to you live from the RMT Book Studio, the hub of innovative digital content and the home of our podcast. And we're incredibly grateful for the support and creative atmosphere that RMT Books provides, helping us bring the most inspiring and thought-provoking conversations with our guests. Speaking of support, we'd like to take a moment here to thank our first sponsor for the episode, Jimbo's AMAs. The Jimbo's AMA's YouTube channel is the home of over 30 full-length interviews featuring the leaders of the Flow community. Jimbo speaks in depth with pioneers of the Web3 industry to keep you in the loop on the development of the Flow ecosystem. Search Jimbo's AMAs on YouTube, that's Jimbo's AMAs on YouTube, and stay up to date with new AMAs by subscribing to the channel today. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Today we have a truly exceptional guest joining us. She's a trailblazer in the world of music education, a game changer in online teaching, and a force to be reckoned with in business, coaching. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to introduce the one and only Brocha. Brocha, how is it going today?
It is so great. Thank you for that introduction. It is so great to be here. We're doing great and hope everyone who is listening is as well.
Fantastic. Now, Brocha, you have a very interesting story, and I've only been able to view it pretty much over Instagram, but when I see what you're doing, I'm always excited to see it, and I'm always excited that you bring a certain level of professionalism and attention to detail. But today for this podcast, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and you have, your business coaching, you have a music instructional course. We're just going to take that all away for a moment and say, it's just you, day one, you have no customer base, no cash flow, anything like that. But you still have all the same responsibilities of a normal life, paying the bills, all that good stuff. What kind of mindset are you taking into having to start from ground zero? What are you putting in your day so that you can succeed, and how do you approach that?
Oh, I love that question. Okay, so I truly believe that mindset is everything. And the mindset I've always carried with me, and, through every situation I've been through, is one, committed to being innovative and resourceful. So really putting myself out there and taking whatever I have. So not looking at what I don't have, but really taking whatever I have. So, whatever situation I'm in currently, taking whatever I have and really making the best of it, and just using my own intellect, my own curiosity, my own initiative to try different things and to really try things, even if I don't know they will work or that my effort and time will pay off yet. Another thing that I stand by always is committing to breaking through fear and not staying in my comfort zone at any point. Staying in my comfort zone is the fastest way to stifle my growth and creativity and passion in life and in what I'm doing. So to break through that, I'm always committed to getting out of my comfort zone. So whenever something feels really scary and, nerve-wracking, I know I'm on the right path. And every single day, I am pushing myself to overcome my fear of doing different things. So yeah, that is maybe quite a general answer, because we haven't really covered how I practically do that in day-to-day life yet. Maybe we'll get to that, I suppose. But for me, those are the things. So it's really, resourcefulness, initiative, listening to my intuition, and curiosity, as well as pushing through fear and not letting any fear hold me back.
That's fantastic. I love this notion of trying something even though you don't know it will succeed. And if things go wrong or right, how do you then approach that next step? Let's say you do make a decision and it does fail. You're not going to sit there and beat yourself up. How are you going to go about then overcoming this failure and moving on so that you can still succeed even though it might have been bumpy on the way?
So for me personally, the biggest way I do that is, like I said, by being very curious. So what I'll do is, even if I'm really not sure what to do. So let's take when I was a complete beginner to social media and to online teaching. So I really had no clue how to use social media to market my piano lessons at the time, or even how to teach over Zoom. Right? I never used Zoom before in my life. I once tried to have a violin lesson, my own violin lesson, not as a teacher. And I just remember the connection was really bad. And I was like, oh, online lessons don't work. But then when lockdown happened, I jumped into it head first, and I had no clue what to do with social media or with Zoom or anything like that. So what I did was I was just very curious, and I just threw myself in head first, rolled up my sleeves, and I just tried so many different things. So when you're trying different things and you're really just taking initiative and pushing yourself out your comfort zone and just trying a whole bunch of things, more times than not, something is going to stick and something is going to work, which then you can take further and, focus on that, refine that, and really evolve with the things that work and, start seeing what did work, start seeing what didn't work, and then really evolve from that. So I guess what I'm saying is that you want to try different things. You don't want to just try one thing and say, oh, it didn't work. Okay, bye, this is not working. It's not happening for me. But really trying all the different things. And then further along the line, once you have tried different things, then obviously you want to learn, you want to study, you want to get mentors, you want to, build up systems to sustain that and, continue being curious and trying different things. But it starts with not just limiting yourself to something that if it doesn't work, you're just back to square one, but really being open-minded and curious and really testing the waters in as many ways as you can.
You said over here, building on success. Now let's get back into this general mindset. Now there are things you can do, let's say when you first wake up, things you can do that you can already be successful with your day just from the beginning. Is there anything you do just to start off your day with a success, or do you see any value behind that? Is that something that you follow?
100%. I love this question. So I have to say that this, it's definitely well known and heard of. So yeah, I do, brushing your teeth, making your bed, for me as a woman, it's, taking the time to do my skincare and my makeup. That's not necessarily always an easy thing for me to do because I had like two babies very close together. So spending just, 5 minutes sorting myself out with my makeup, whatever, was not always something I did. But then once I started prioritizing that was actually a big thing for me. So if you are a woman and listening, but even if you're a man, then, with my husband, he's, just making sure your shirt is on right, or, you just have that extra 2 minutes to spend, respecting your body and appearance. So that's one thing I do to start my day off in the right foot. The second thing, well, this might be a bit cliche and not everyone can do it. I found an enormous benefit and I noticed an enormous difference when I stopped doing it. So what I would do is when I was getting ready, so like I said, I have two young kids. So when I get up in the morning, it's just rush, get them, breakfast, dressed, hair, pack school lunches, get them out of the house, make sure they're all happy and eating breakfast and, got everything in place. But then once they're gone and I'm getting ready for the day, I really, really enjoy not sitting down and doing meditation because my ADHD hasn't allowed me to do that yet, but having a meditation on while I get ready, it's truly made a difference because I truly believe in the power of subconscious programming and, really putting out your wants to the universe. Like, I don't talk a lot about manifesting or meditation. In my work, I do talk a lot about mindset and energetics because I believe that's a huge component. You want your whole body, you want your emotions and your feelings to be in it, especially when you're working in marketing, or you're working with people in any sort of way. We have so many minute facial expressions and different energies about us that if you don't truly believe and are committed to what you're doing, the other person can sense it, however intuitive they are or not. There's obviously going to be people that are more intuitive and sense things even more, but everyone is going to sense it. And I feel like that's really not talked about enough. And so meditations has really helped me subconsciously start the day off in the right way instead of just jumping into, I need to do this, I need to write that piece of content, I need to start this client work, I need to answer all these social media things, I need to record this lesson, I need to do this. Instead of just jumping into that, when I'm like not fully present and not fully committed to a big picture, this just really grounds me and really grounds me to start the day in a way that I'm not just ticking off all the small tasks, but that I'm really committed to the long-term vision of making a better life for myself and for my family and to reach more people and help my clients more and reach more clients. So that meditation, and then also, I'm also working out. Working out is definitely so important for me. I start every day with movement, whether it's going to the gym or just even taking the dog on a walk. Then starting the day off with movement, it just really gets all the blood flowing and really energizes me and wakes me up, and it just gives me that focus for the rest of the day. So yeah, that's what I do.
That's awesome. Way to go into detail on that. Thank you so much. We want to get, so you have this morning routine, and it sounds like it might be 2 to 3 hours, and then you
Yes.
have that done, and then you have another, I'll say this nicely, like a mountain of things that you have to do. So you've got yourself all set up, all prepared. Now you're going to go into the work portion of your day. Do you set up, before you even start, a priority list, and how do you go about prioritizing tasks?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And yeah, just a quick caveat, like my morning routine is quite long, obviously involving the workout, but I've worked very hard to make my schedule flexible. And I know that not everyone will be able to do it, but you can always put on a meditation while you're getting ready, if there's not too much going on, or even if you just put it in your ear or something. And yeah, not everyone can work out in the morning, but for me, I'm really grateful that I can. So yeah, this is my morning routine, and I'm really grateful I'm able to do it. But yeah, definitely not something that is doable for everyone. But maybe if you just get an inspiration to incorporate one of those things in some way, that would be amazing. So yeah, so once I started to work and I've sat down in front of my computer and I'm like, what do I need to do? So my main two priorities. So how I delegate things are, I make sure that I am, make sure I'm on top of all my client work, because that's priority number one. And then priority number two is creating content, because content is really the fuel of my online business. So I make sure that I'm on top of all my content in different ways. I don't really have my priorities really depend on what season I'm in. So whether I'm launching something, whether I'm revamping a new program, whether I'm, having conversations with different people. So it really depends. I don't necessarily tackle it in a very methodical way. It's one of the things I love about working online is that there's just so much flexibility in the way you do it. So a lot of my clients that I coach, I give them all the systems and the spreadsheets, and they really integrate that and create their own systems. And I use a lot of those as well, but sometimes I don't even use any systems, and because I've been doing this for a while, I kind of just a second nature that I know exactly what I need to do, and I do it. And, obviously some things can fall a bit to the wayside, but I believe that's okay. We can't expect ourselves to be perfect, and we can only get better and make progress. But yeah, I would say it's not even that methodical. I know what I need to do, and my priorities are my clients and creating content in different forms. My top priority is creating content for my Instagram and Facebook. So I'm always making sure I know what I'm doing there. And then, yeah, otherwise it depends. I guess this is not such a clear answer, but yeah, I would say my work is just very fluid and in the flow, and I do need to make sure I'm on top of things, but it's not like very methodical. Yeah.
All right. So I heard a couple things here, and I want to try to piece them together. So earlier you spoke about this meditation and manifesting, right? So here,
Yeah.
and then you speak about the flexibility that you've earned the right to have, right? So you've earned your ability to have flexibility because you put in the work to get there. But let's think here. If I'm somebody who's, still working a job that, they don't like, and they're fearful of stepping out there, how can they use this manifesting, or how did you, before you even got as far as you are today, how did you manifest yourself into this present that you are in right now? And what level of belief did you have in that manifestation, on a scale from like 0 to 100?
Yeah. So firstly, I just want to say that if I said the word earned, then I apologize, or maybe it's just the way. I don't think earn is the right word, because
Okay, it's fine.
I think more that in particular, I was very committed to this vision of a flexible schedule because of just the way I work. If you're working in a regular 9 to 5 job, hey, good for you. That's an amazing way to do it. And it's an amazing jumping ground for doing other things. It's a great way to bring stability into your life while pursuing other ventures. I gradually transitioned from teaching full time in a school to then teaching part time, replacing that with teaching part time piano lessons. Well, after I had my first baby, and then full time teaching online after I had my second, and then now back to part-time / full-time working online. So I transitioned very gradually, and I used my 9 to 5 job, or then my regular piano lessons, to kind of fund my ventures into the next stage. Because so and what did I truly believe? Well, the thing is, and this is something that I think needs to be more transparent in the online entrepreneurship world, is that yes, I made it work, but just how to say it, I'm lucky that I do have stability in terms of that. Yes, I don't have a job, but my husband does, and he's not the main supporter. Obviously, all the work I do pays the bills because, nowadays life is expensive and we have a family. But so I wouldn't just say, it's something that, oh, if I can do it, you can. Everyone has different circumstances, and you want to work in the way that's best for you. So, I think that's just something we need to really, put there as a caveat, kind of, right? But with the manifestation, then it wasn't so much about the manifestation. The manifestation was a small part. The biggest part of the manifestation process was actually putting in the work and truly not stopping until I found a way that worked for me and that was successful. So the biggest part of manifestation, I think, is, like I said, it's literally 10-minute meditation compared to 5 hours of work, right? So the 10-minute meditation is is going to help me in my 5 hours of work per day, or 6 or 7 or 8, depending what season I'm in. But it's really the work and the way I approach my work that was the biggest manifestation. And for me, I had a very, I knew exactly what I wanted. So knowing exactly what you want can be really helpful. I knew that I wanted to buy a house. I knew I wanted, a better car. I knew I wanted a more comfortable schedule, a more comfortable lifestyle, so I could really thrive creatively and really not, really just be able to honor the way I work, or things like, for example, having ADHD, or like having health problems, which means that it's not easy for me to work a regular job because, if I have health flare-ups, I need to, be able to slow down without having to cancel everything, right?
Mhm.
So having a really clear vision, really putting in the work with a clear vision. And yes, I did things like vision boards and those kind of things, and that helps a lot. But that should be, for me, I think that should be 5 to 10% at most. The rest, you need to actually be putting in the work, and not just in a way that you're saying, I'm putting in the work, but really wholeheartedly, with your full heart and soul and mind, really, really committing to trying the different things and rolling up your sleeves and getting scrappy, doing it in all the ways you possibly can.
Fantastic. That was an amazing answer. Thank you so much for going into more detail on that. Absolutely fantastic. I have one more question for you before we wrap this thing up. You were saying
Mm-hmm.
that you were actually a teacher before you started getting into the business side of things, but
Mm-hmm.
also in your business, you're teaching students piano. And when we first started out,
Yeah.
how much of this was also a passion that you knew you wanted to follow your passion? Not only did you want to meet those requirements for schedule and whatnot, but you also wanted to pursue something that you're passionate about. And what kind of role did the passion play in you being able to just keep moving forward and giving you the motivation to keep putting in the work?
So, yeah, my passion was that with working online. So I taught piano for several years, whether it was full time or part time, alongside, working in a school. I taught piano for several years, and I really enjoyed that. But I found this schedule was a bit too rigid for my health problems and the way I work creatively. So the passion that fueled me was that working online, it just has so much flexibility in so many ways, and it's just very, very creatively fulfilling. So that, as a creative person, that really fueled me to do it, because if you're a creative person, you know that creative fulfillment or creative frustration is that it's, yes, it's privileged, but it's also not privileged in a way. That creative frustration is really painful, and being creatively fulfilling can just make a difference to your emotional, psychological, and physical health. So for me, it was a lot about being creatively fulfilled while also connecting with people and just mastering the art of sales. I found the art of sales just so fascinating, because what is sales? Sales is about reaching people, connecting with people, and then offering them a service in exchange for bettering your quality of life. So I just and having more cash flow to invest back in your business, to invest in your health, in your day-to-day schedule, in all these different things. So I just found the art of online marketing and online sales so fascinating and so enjoyable and so interesting, that definitely, that passion fueled me all the way through it, even during those moments where, when it felt like nothing was working or it was just very difficult. It was just an innate passion that sustained me through all of that.
Incredible.
Oh,
I have
thank
one
you.
last question for you before we go. How many years ago did you start doing this, if you had a number for that?
So I've always been an entrepreneur. I only started working online since lockdown. So that is about 3 years now, which is not a lot, but it feels like a lifetime, to be honest. And so much has changed. So yeah, it's been 3 years.
Incredible. Brocha, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you've shared, and RMT Books and myself greatly appreciate your time, and thank you again.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. And any questions or any way I can support any of you listeners, you can just find me on Instagram. I am Brocha, so I am, and then Brocha, and you'll be able to find me there and just reach out if I can support or help you or just start a conversation in any way.
Definitely.
So thank you so much for having, and it was so great chatting.